Hi, I'm Pattu from freefincal. Today I want to talk to you about my experience of investing in the new pension scheme or the national pension scheme for the last 12 plus years. My current return is 8.9%. Of course, that requires some context. So I have been investing in the national pension scheme, the central government plan, from 8th March 2010 onwards. Now, this is a replacement for the GPF for me. So it's a replacement from a fixed interest product to a market linked debt like product. So 85% of it is in bonds. Most of it is gilts bonds. There may be some corporate holdings as well. I don't know the exact composition of corporate holdings. I'm not bothered to look, and that's not listed anywhere as far as I know. And 15% of it is equity. Now, I am not recommending NPS. I've never recommended NPS, particularly for those in corporate. It's difficult to get it transferred if you're going to switch from one job to the other. One employer may not offer, the new employer may not offer the NPS, and also most corporate employees are not going to work until 60, and most of your money could get locked into NPS until 60. Then you are in trouble, so you have to take care of that. So because if you exit before 60, 80% of your money is locked into a annuity. So I have always said don't invest in NPS. Of course, people say, oh, there's this extra 50,000 tax saving, I don't want to let it go waste and so on. Earlier I used to vehemently oppose that as well, but now I've become tired of people who want to save tax first. I would say, well, if you want to go ahead and save the tax, go ahead, but just ensure that you are investing a lot more elsewhere. Now, currently NPS is about half of my equity mutual fund corpus, and it's about 25% of my total retirement corpus. It took me so long, from 2006 onwards, it took me that much time to reduce my dependence on NPS in the total portfolio. Now, I have been part of the NPS since 2006, but NPS was not ready for investment right then. So until then, the local organization would offer the interest on that. About 8% interest was given. The first market linked investment into the NPS mutual fund was made from 8th March 2010 onwards. So we're going to look at the performance of that from that date. So for in the central government plan, about 1/3 of the money is put into UTI, 1/3 of it is in LIC, and 1/3 of it is in SBI. And initially we could not change the asset allocation, but now we can change the asset allocation. But I have always recommended not to change the asset allocation. Leave it to be the default asset allocation, and you can always invest from elsewhere. You can invest in equity from elsewhere, because I have already shown that the NPS equity mutual funds don't really do well. Now, my NPS is one of the best examples of a step-up SIP. Today, my monthly investment is 5 times more than what it was 10 years ago, or 12 years ago, I should say. That's a 14% year-on-year increase. So that's like a huge step-up SIP. Now you can see the growth of the NPS corpus. The current corpus is XIRR is 8.95%, so it's almost 9%. It was about more than 10% last year, but because of the rate hikes and so on, the gilts have fallen in value. So you can you see the little bit lower corpus. So that's the total amount and the total investment. And you can see here, somewhere here, that there's a little bit of a fall here. That's July 2013. That's the taper tantrum when RBI had to increase the rate by 2% overnight, and that resulted in a big fall for gilts. And I took a big hit on my XIRR dropped by half at that time. That's when the pension fund regulatory authority realized, oh my god, such things can happen, so let's introduce staggered withdrawals. So you can see the 11.56 was the CAGR, and was the XIRR, excuse me, and it dropped down to about 6% and then recovered a little bit to 7% and so on. So that's because of the gilts. So this is the gain of the portfolio. You can see the fall more clearly here. You can see it's reacted quite sharply, and that's from March 2010 to August 2022. Now I have used the monthly interest rate of EPS. That is, I took the historical EPF, the annual rate, I converted it into a monthly rate, and I have projected it like a NAV. So just like if EPF was a mutual fund and it has an NAV, then you can plot a graph like this. Some of you, I think 2 people have asked how to plot graphs like this in the comments. Yeah, I think maybe I should, it'll be a nice idea to do a demo on this. I think it may be of interest to some people how to do the plotting. Let's try and do that. So you can see that the EPF has done quite well because of the high interest rate. The NPS has fallen below the EPF several times. 1, 2, 3, almost here another 4 times or so. It has fallen below the EPF several times. So it's not hard. It's very hard to beat EPF. That's why I keep saying, if you already have EPF, don't bother getting into NPS. There's no need for you to do it. And EPF is a lot more liquid than NPS, and you don't have the annuity requirement as well. And if I had invested in the EPF instead of the NPS, then my the black line would be my investment. The blue line is the NPS growth. So again, it's pretty tough to beat 8% growth, of course, because I mean my NPS is fixed income. It's a debt fund. I have equity elsewhere. I don't invest in an equity in NPS. I see no reason for that. Many people come and say, oh, NPS gave me 15%, NPS gave me 12%, and so on. Well, it depends on the asset allocation. Without asset allocation, mentioning asset allocation, the returns don't really matter. So that's my NPS journey so far. I'm okay with it. I'm perfectly happy with it. It's a mandatory investment for me. I'm okay with 9% ish debt return. It's absolutely fine. It's about yeah, like I said, about 25% of my total portfolio. So it's fine. But let's see what the future holds.